Namaste, yogis and yoginis and everyone in between. So last week we spoke about the four main pathways of yoga. And the four main pathways of yoga, just to reiterate, was karma yoga. Karma yoga had to do with selfless service. All right? That was the first main pathway. Karma yoga has to do with service. Okay? And the service specifically is of your time, of your talent, and you are not compensated. So you are just serving the masses, serving an individual. You are doing something, an act of kindness, out of the purity and goodness of your heart. Okay? So karma is about action, and it's about conscious action and action from a heart of service with no regard to the attachment. Karma yoga. Then we have pathway number 2, which is bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is considered to be the yoga of the heart. And the reason why bhakti yoga is considered to be the yoga of the heart is because it is devotional. So bhakti has to do with devotion. It has to do with song. It has to do with dance. It has to do with prayer. It has to do with rituals. You know, in many religions, they have a ritual, whether it's church on Sunday, whether it's Juma on Friday, whether it is fasting for different full moons or new moons in some cultures, whether it's the Sabbath, okay, it's ritualistic, and it's all of service to the divine, and that is bhakti, okay? Bhakti is devotional yoga, okay? Devotional to a higher power, all right? Then you have pathway number 3. Pathway number 3 is called jhana yoga. Jhana yoga. Some people spell it J-H-A-N, and some people spell it just J-A-N-A. You'll see it spelled both ways. Jhana yoga is probably my favorite because I love knowledge, I love wisdom, and I love to teach people, okay? But I really love all of these. But I have a special connection with jhana yoga. So jhana yoga is the pathway of the sage or the wisdom keeper. So it's considered to be a scholar's path. However, you have people who are called sages who might not have a degree, might not have had any type of scholarly academic training or gone to any college or anything like that. But they have wisdom. They're wisdom keepers. So they have listened to traditional stories, they have studied and walked the path, and they have the wisdom and experience within themselves. And so they take on a disciple and they teach that disciple, and they are called the sage. Okay? So jhana yoga is the path of the sage or the scholar. Okay? Or it could be the sage and the scholar. And then you have pathway number 4. Pathway number 4 is called Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga is considered to be the king or queen of yoga. Okay? It's considered to be the king of yoga. And the reason why Raja Yoga is considered to be the king of yoga, because it encompasses the 8-fold path or the 8-limb paths of yoga, which we spoke about last week. Okay? Today, I want to speak about a Yama. Last time we talked about the niyamas, but today I want to talk about a Yama that resonate with me. And that Yama is called Satya. Satya. Satya means truthfulness. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how Satya was working with me. I didn't even know. I went to the Whole Food Market the other day to get me something to eat. And I like to walk on the incense aisle. And there was a particular incense that just popped out at me. And so I said, okay, let me try this incense. And when I brought it home and I burnt the incense, it smelled so sweet and so good. And I was like, let me look and see what the name of this is. I hadn't looked at the name. The box had attracted me. And it was Satya. That was the name of the incense. And Satya means truthfulness. Now, Satya is a Yama. Okay, it's the second Yama. I want to elaborate on Satya. Satya, we talk about not lying to people, okay, and being dishonest in conversation. But today, I want to talk about Satya with relation to yourself. With relation to yourself. Think about that for a moment. Truthfulness with oneself. There's nobody involved outside of yourself. You're not talking to anyone outside of yourself, but you're having a conversation with yourself. I have a question for you. How many times have you told yourself an untruth? And we do it so much that we probably don't even realize it because we've been living a life that has been weaved on untruths, unauthenticity. And it's no judgment because these are things that we do to survive. Okay? Sometimes we believe that, say it could be something as simple as I'm going to get this job because I have a reality. I have bills to pay. And then society can put so much adoration and praise and status upon this job that you have. But in your heart of hearts, you don't feel connected to that particular job with regard to your purpose. And every day you wake up, you can feel like you're actually telling yourself a lie. But you do it because it brings you accolades. You do it because it gives you a certain amount of status. And you do it because it pays the bills. Okay? So Satya, the reason why I like it so much is because if you really take on the practice of Satya, what happens is it will help you to see through illusions. It will help you see through illusions. And we live in a world of illusions, okay? And I can talk about myself that sometimes, and I'll get into a deeper video about this because I'm actually going to do a whole segment on illusions. But sometimes we can just become so attached to titles that it creates an illusion around us. But the only way we're going to be able to see through that illusion is if we sit down and we look within ourselves. And how do you do that? You do that through two of the niyamas, which is, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right, meditation and concentration. Those are the English terms for it. Meditation and concentration. If you don't meditate, quiet yourself. I mean, get away from everybody, everything, and really listen to yourself, then you're not going to know your own truth. Because once you step out into the world and everyone else is telling you things, giving you accolades, telling you what they want from you, then you can get caught up in other people's illusions. And you can lose your own Satya. Now, this is a human experience. So I don't want anybody to judge themselves because this is a human experience. And we have all been there. And as long as we live, we're all going to go there. Okay? But the key to life and the key to the person on the spiritual path is to come back home to themselves. And you do that through Satya. Satya, truthfulness, is a practice that is most difficult. And the reason why it's most difficult is because we tell little lies every day, knowingly and unknowingly. Somebody can call the house and you don't even want to answer the phone, but guess what you'll say? Tell them I'm not here. Why don't you just pick up the phone and say, today I am having a me day and I appreciate your call, but I don't want to speak to you today. That will allow you to tell your truth, but it'll also allow a person to feel their own truth. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I'll give another example. We live in a world, and I'm not going to say that it's an easy world to live in with all the different things that we do in business and work and things like that. But something as common as making stipulations on your taxes. What if we just tried for a little while to just live truthfully? And I'm not going to say that you have to make it a very tight walking rope, but just for 7 days, watch what comes out of your mouth. Let's break it down to that. 7 days of just watching what comes out of your mouth. No lying for 7 days. That's purity in itself. That's purity in itself. Okay? But I want to speak about Satya when it comes to our soul. Okay? Our soul. Authenticity. We are here to let more of God, the divine, shine through us. And it is awful difficult to do that if we have all of this stuff that we're piling onto us that has nothing to do with the light that is in our own soul. Okay? And the way you do that is to live. Okay? Like I said, I'm not a person who's dogmatic. I don't want to get dogmatic. I don't want anybody to feel bad about where they are in their journey. So the way you do that is simply every day taking about 10 to 15 minutes. You can start with just that small amount, 10 to 15 minutes of just sitting with yourself and breathing and listening to your own thoughts. And listening to your own thoughts. And see how many of those thoughts are actually yours. Do you know that the illusion that you're living could be as simple as the thoughts that you're thinking on a day-to-day basis are not even your own thoughts? So how about for just a little while, every day for 7 days, sit down in meditation for 10 to 15 minutes and listen to the dialogue that goes on in your own head. And see how many of those thoughts are yours. And if you want to get really into it and really start living your truth, write down the thoughts take a paper, put a line through it. On one side of the paper have my thoughts, if you feel like it's an original thought that comes from you, and thought of the masses. And the masses can be anywhere from your family to your work, colleagues, or whatever. And write that down. And see how many of those thoughts are actually yours. And then, if you want to start to move into that path of living a truthful life, I want you to start to lean more into and to delve into and to really explore those thoughts that you feel resonate from your own soul. And start to vibrate in that frequency and see how your life feels. Now, I'm not telling you to do anything that I haven't done. I'm not telling you to do anything that I'm not doing. Okay? We have a choice. The choice is Do I want to live in this experience living my own authentic truth and doing what I feel is called upon me, my soul's calling? Or do I want to live in this world, okay, and be under the influence of Maya? Now, that's a whole other yogic philosophy. We'll get into that. But under the illusion of somebody else's dialogue, dreams, thoughts, fears, so forth and so on. This path, this yogic path, is a path that I personally believe that every prophet, Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, Abraham, all of them have experienced on some level. They may not have been doing asanas, okay? But if you get to the crux of these 4 pathways, karma, bhakti, jhana, and raja, you'll be able to see it, okay? But what happened and what made them so powerful is that they all had to come into their own Satya, truth. And what did they do? They gave us the gift of their truth. Okay? And you talk about the word path. Path is just simply a way. The path is just simply a way of life. That's why we have all of these different religions, which I adore, all of them. Okay? But you have to see what resonates with you. And the only way you're going to do that is by living your own truth. So I invite you this week. It's a simple practice, but it's so hard. It's really challenging, okay? I don't want to use the word hard, but it's very challenging because somebody's going to come up and you're going to be compelled to bend the truth or to leave out something. But for 7 days, just tell the truth to the people who you talk to, but then also tell the truth to yourself and see what happens. Yama, number 2, truthfulness. Satya, the 4 paths of yoga. Okay? Truthfulness. We don't want to live a lie. Namaste.